Alright, let's play Simon's Quest. I've been stuck on this game for 30 years, but today we're gonna beat it. How, you ask? Well, we're gonna use a guide. This is gonna be a little let's play walkthrough. We're only gonna do the most important things. We're not gonna go on a bunch of side quests and get a bunch of useless items. We're just gonna try to get through the game as painless as possible. So here we are at the first town. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up a white crystal from the merchant here. Now, what is a white crystal and why do we need it? Well, who knows? I sure don't. But according to the guide, it will make invisible platforms visible. So we basically have to have this thing to get into the first mansion. And actually we kinda need the holy water too, because the holy water shows you which floor you're gonna fall through. But actually I already practiced a little bit, so I know where those holes are. So we're just gonna attack the mansion without the holy water and pick it up later. We're playing Simon's Quest. And this is a game that I actually owned back then, but it wasn't a game that I played a lot. I bought it used, only the cartridge, without the box, without the instruction manual. And it was one of those impossible to beat games, which we had a few of back then. In other words, it was a game that you would put in, play for maybe 10 or 20 minutes until you got lost and bored, and then you just stopped and played something else. Now, of course, these days games are always beatable. I mean, if you buy a game, you're gonna expect to beat it and earn your trophy and platinum and whatnot. Back in those days, the 80s, it wasn't that uncommon for games to be unbeatable. Games designed for the arcade, or games designed for Atari ST, that was the other console I had. Now look, we gotta equip the crystal here, and now those platforms became visible. Of course, I think you can jump on the platforms even when they are invisible, but we need the crystal anyway. We gotta trade it for a blue and then a red crystal later on. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Well, yeah, a bunch of games were unbeatable back then. Sometimes the programmers just didn't have time to finish the game, and then they would just program a jump or something to be impossible on stage 3 or 4, you know what I mean? So yeah, in those days there were plenty of games that you could play for a while and then get stuck, and then just give up, and this was one of them. Game always seemed pretty intimidating to me. It's like you don't have any map, you don't know where stuff is, lots of locations look similar. It's like I don't know which forest I'm supposed to be at. I don't know what items to search for. I have no idea what I'm doing. But anyway, the game has these mansions. We are in the first one now, and the object here is to buy an oak stake from a merchant who is hiding out somewhere, and then we're gonna collect one of Dracula's body parts. Now, the plot in this game is actually a real cool plot. This game takes place right after the first Castlevania, after Simon Belmont defeats Dracula, and what happens is just before he died, Dracula put a curse on Simon. Yeah, here we buy the oak stake. So now Simon is cursed, and Dracula's body parts have been scattered around Transylvania. And as you can see, they are being preserved in these mansions, I guess. Maybe some kind of cult. Yeah, these blocks here, you're gonna fall through unless you jump, as I just did. You're supposed to use the holy water to see where that is. And then we throw the oak stake at the orb. And here we pick up Dracula's rib. Now each of Dracula's body parts have their own abilities, so if you equip this rib, which looks like a cartoon dog bone, we have a shield, which will protect us from projectiles. Now of course the stage could have ended here, but it's like, let's go all the way back. That was intentional, I wanted to get down here because it's faster. I guess we're gonna have to talk about some of the game's problems, but I want to talk about the positive stuff first. I mean, the plot is actually real cool. As you can see, the curse of Dracula lives on. Even though he's dead, and even though his castle has been destroyed, there are still, monsters and things running around. And, I guess we have to collect Dracula's body parts and then bring them back to the ruins of his castle and then destroy him for good, to get rid of the curse. The curse is making us rot or something. So during the nighttime, enemies are stronger, but they also drop more hearts, which is currency. Now this game has many RPG-like elements, and one of them is that, things cost money. We have to buy stuff, and the stuff costs money, and the money is hearts. So right now we are heading back to town to pick up the holy water, which we are gonna need to be able to beat the game. I mean, why do you have to put the skeleton right there? Yeah, so this is not a game that I'm very familiar with at all, actually. God damn it. The good news is that it's not that hard, actually. I mean, you do have infinite continues, I think. And the only thing that actually happens when you die is that you lose the hearts, which is all your money. We got lucky there. But yeah, I mean, the soundtrack is just great. And I mean, check out the music, dude. It doesn't get any better than this. The only drawback is that the soundtrack is goddamn short. I mean, if you imagine this, every track loops after about 30 seconds. You notice here, something happened there. We got a full life bar, and we were blinking a little bit. That's when we level up. You can actually level up from collecting hearts. I think the maximum is like 5 or 6 levels, so not that much. But it's cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, the whole soundtrack is about 10 minutes, if you don't count all the loops. So you're gonna be pretty familiar with these tunes, since they loop so many times. Now here we are back at the town, which is now full of zombies. Now all the shops are closed, so we can't buy anything. We're just gonna have to wait until the horrible night is over before we can buy the holy water from the merchant. This church is, you can go in there and get healed, but not in the nighttime. Right now we have the weakest whip, so we're gonna have to go buy a stronger one if we want to survive. We're gonna skip a lot of optional stuff. We're not gonna pick up garlic and do a bunch of stuff that I don't even know what the use is. Pick up daggers and other weapons and stuff. I don't need that anyway. We're just gonna do the necessary things. Here we go, holy water. Very important sub-weapon in this game, as it can break some walls. It'll also show you which blocks you're gonna fall through. Alright, so now let's get back to the adventure. Now we're gonna head to another town so we can pick up a chain whip. And then we're gonna go attack the next mansion. Of course, we have all seen the AVGN video where he talks about this game. I mean, that was his first or second video, I think. I mean, it's a funny video, you know. For sure, he points out lots of, you know, valid reasons as to why the game sucks. But I think it's still a little too harsh. I mean, the game doesn't really suck that much. You have to imagine how old the game is. I mean, this game came out in the 80s, and it tried to do like day-night cycle and RPG elements, leveling up and stuff. I mean, this was actually pretty damn ambitious for the time, and it is a direct sequel to the first Castlevania. I mean, I would say that without a guide, the game is frustrating as fuck. I mean, it's very annoying to play, probably impossible. But, I mean, if they had translated the hints a little better, or maybe like included some kind of guide with the game, it would have been a more pleasurable experience for sure. I mean, it is a fun game to play, you know, controls are great. You have very interesting enemies and weapons and locations. I mean, the game is actually almost great, I would say. Never beat it as a kid and never got anywhere, and after the AVGN video I just kind of stayed away from it because, you know, he talked so much fucking shit about it, and I recognized many of the things he said. I was like, okay, well, the game sucks, I'm just gonna skip it. But then I bought the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, and I've been playing through all the games except Kid Dracula. I don't count that as a real game. It just feels a little weird to have beaten all the classic Vanias except this one. I mean, this is after all a classic Vania, part 2 in the NES trilogy. For sure it must be beaten. And thanks to the guides that are available today, we're gonna do it. Alright, it became nighttime again. In case this gameplay looks a little boring, that's because, you know, we're grinding for hearts again. This is a game that has some mandatory grinding. Lots of games were like that back then, we don't see that too much these days. But this game is like, you know, you have to grind. You have to get money to buy the stuff. And the only way to get money is to kill enemies. So you just gotta run around and kill enemies until you have enough hearts. This whip that we're trying to buy costs 150 hearts, which is pretty damn expensive. But we can't really survive without it. So yes, I mean, this is like a mindset that you have to get into when you play the game. In other words, you just have to be willing to sacrifice 5 minutes or 10 minutes sometimes to run back and forth and kill the respawning skeletons. It's just the name of the game, you know. You can't just run through it. It's a dirty job, but somebody's gotta do it. You know, whip those fucking skeletons. This is one of those games where enemies respawn like all the time. So as soon as you leave the screen for even like half an inch, the enemy will respawn again, and that can create some difficult situations sometimes. Alright, I think we have enough now. Now we're gonna head into the town. As you notice, this whip is not strong enough to get us through. Enemies take like 4 hits. That's why we're doing it, that's why we gotta buy the chain whip. I mean, this is the game's way of telling you that you're too weak for the next section. I think it's actually pretty interesting how the game is designed. For example, the first town, the town that you start the game in, there are two exits, one to the left and one to the right. Now, if you take the left exit, you're gonna notice that enemies are strong as fuck and hit hard and fast, and you're gonna die pretty quick. If you take the right side exit, you notice that enemies are a lot easier. Now, this is actually a pretty smart way of telling the player that you're supposed to go right. You're not supposed to go left. And I think other games have done that too since then. You know, Dark Souls will usually not tell you where to go, but they will put like some hard ass enemies. So when you enter an area and you get fucking killed right away, you know that, well, I'm probably not supposed to go here yet. I'm supposed to go somewhere else. Now, the only problem with this approach, which is, to let the player figure it out, is that, kids are not that smart. At least I wasn't. So, I mean, I would take the left exit and just, get killed a bunch of times. I didn't know it was games were hard back then. I thought it was just the way it was. So, I don't know. I think they put maybe like too much faith in 12-year-old kids' brains. Here we go, the chain whip. For some reason this businessman decided to put up his business in the third layer of a basement with a floor that you have to break to get in. He needs a better marketing strategy, I think. Alright, so now we can proceed. New enemy is this eyeball, which is kind of a pain in the ass, as you're gonna notice when you're on the stairs. Fucking eyeball. Fucking bullshit. Fuck you. Alright, now we got him. The game has some bullshit, but not too much. Compared to Castlevania 1 and Castlevania 3, this is almost a bullshit-free game. Well, I can't say, no, that was too much to say. But it doesn't have the same amount of bullshit, for sure. It doesn't have a lot of pits. But, the few pits it has sure suck. Now, you can break these blocks and get in here and find a secret weapon. I'm getting a little assaulted here. Check it out, we got the Sacred Flame, which is, it's like a flame that creates a little flame pillar on the ground. Pretty effective later in the game, when we face slimes. As you notice, enemies respawn like crazy. You can easily get surrounded. These spiders shoot web that looks like the web that should be attached to a tree or something. I'm not sure what's up with that. Shouldn't they be shooting just strings? Not just a finished designed web? Who cares? Look, I'll say this, playing the game with a guide is a lot more fun than playing without a guide. I gotta say that. Right, here we are in a new town. Let's see what we can do here. As you notice, I don't talk to any of the townsfolk because they're all full of shit anyway. I guess you can get some clues sometimes, but they are usually so poorly translated you get more confused than you were before you talk to them. It's like break Deborah Cliff with your head or something. It's like stuff that doesn't make sense. When you see these grey guys, you gotta talk to them, because they will exchange your crystal. Now we exchanged the white crystal for a blue one. And now it became nighttime. I mean, I'm sure that the day and night cycle are equal in length, but it feels like the night cycle is longer, I don't know. Maybe because it's so boring. So now we have a blue crystal. Guess what we're gonna use that for? Well, it's blue, so of course it has something to do with water. Although that may just be a coincidence. Oh, nice gameplay there. Here we are at a creepy cemetery and a jump that we just can't make. I think you're supposed to drop garlic or something here, but we don't need that. I mean, who cares? But as you notice, our whip got stronger now. So now we can handle the stronger enemies. But yeah, I mean, I don't know really how anybody can hate the game. I mean, I think the game is actually pretty great. It's just a shame that it's so hard to figure out where to go, you know, what to do. Of course, there is some fan-made version, I think. I haven't played it, but I heard that it's like the fans did a better translation and eliminated some of the bullshit, so the game became a lot better. But I don't know, I mean, I want to play it the way it was back then. I want to experience the game the way it was released. I mean, we didn't really have quality control back then, you know what I mean? It's like these days you have marketing teams and beta testers and, you know, you have like focus groups, I guess, I don't know. It's like, you know, people go through everything, make sure everything is cool. Here we're gonna equip the blue crystal and duck for a while. And then you can go down. Now, how are you supposed to know how to do this? I don't know. You just gotta read a guide. But anyway, back in those days, you know, games could be released in a pretty shitty state. I mean, have you seen the English translation for Ghouls and Ghosts? And this one is like, instead of you possess, it's like you process. There just wasn't any quality control back then, you know. So here we are in a new mansion, and of course we are like traumatized from those trap blocks. But I don't think there are many of those in this mansion. But of course, since they put that in the first mansion, you're always gonna be like paranoid that they're gonna, you know, all of a sudden you're gonna fall through the floor. Yep, whipping some bats. These are actually pretty friendly bats, you know, compared to the bats in Castlevania 3 and 1. Oh look, we can jump through the blocks. Yeah, the game loves to hide secrets like that. But I mean, for sure the game is super ambitious considering how old it is. Before you go into these mansions, you want to have about 50 hearts, just in case, because it's not a good feeling to find the merchant and then you can't afford the oak stake. Sometimes he's hidden in pretty out of reach places. This track is so goddamn good, you know. This is like one of those tracks where I don't mind if it loops every 30 seconds, because I mean I can listen to it forever. Enemies just pacing back and forth, not too dangerous. In terms of gameplay, it's one of the easier Castlevanias for sure. It's more about exploration, that's where the real challenge lies. The enemies and the bosses are kind of pushovers. Maybe they lost some mojo after their leader Count Dracula got whacked. Now they're just pacing around aimlessly, like, why do we still exist in this world? This menu is so hard to navigate. Even after using it 100 times, I still don't know how to navigate exactly. Now we process Dracula's heart. And now we have to go all the way back out. I mean, imagine if the first Castlevania was like this. You go through the whole stage, kill the boss, pick up the orb, and then the game just keeps going, like, alright, now let's go back out. They did that in Castlevania 3, in the Clock Tower. And that's why I never go to the Clock Tower stage to pick up Grant, because you gotta go all the way up, which sucks. Beat the boss and then go all the way down. It's like, dude, I already went up once, I mean, give me a break. Yeah, we are dancing with death here, we only got one life bar left. Gonna need a miracle. But I'm getting pumped by the music. Whoops. Well, how the fuck was I supposed to know that was there? Let's just drop down in... Ah, fuck! Ah, you piece of shit. Well, that didn't work. How about here? Alright, here we go. Epic gameplay. Oh, you just leveled up. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that sucks about dying is that if you lose all your lives, you lose the hearts. And sometimes you have like a pile of hearts, 200 plus. As you notice, there was a dead end there. That means that we are actually done with the east side of Transylvania. That means that we can't go further to the right. Now we're gonna go back to the left. It involves some pretty serious backtracking. But that's what we gotta do. We got no quick travel here. No world map. It seems that some parts might have been a bit rushed, it's like each of those 5 mansions should probably have their own boss, right? It feels like there should be a boss before you pick up the orb. It might have been a conscious design decision. It might be like, since Dracula is dead, most of his... Nah, I mean, they were just lazy, I think. For sure, each mansion should have had a boss. And this is of course the first time that they used the track Bloody Tears. It would later appear in other games, like Haunted Castle, which has a soundtrack made by the same guy. Too bad that game sucks. It is a more tranquil experience than the other NES Castlevanias, where you are, you know, constantly under attack. God damn it, piece of shit. Enemies are much more subdued here. Looks like they barely even want to fight. Those skeletons just walk around minding their own business, like, hey, you hear what happened to Dracula? I heard he's dead. Alright, what are we supposed to do then? I don't know. Just keep walking, you know, keep patrolling. That's what we get paid for. Now we are finally back at the town where we started the game. Now the good news is that we never have to go back to the east side. The rest of the game takes place on the west side. West side! Right, so here we have some more dangerous enemies, but we can block the projectiles with our shield. Is it obvious that this is not the first area of the game that you should go to? I mean, yeah, I guess, because you can't get through the swamp, I think. Well, that was that was pretty careless of me. I mean, you're supposed to use like a laurel. You know, gotta buy some laurel. Laurel. The problem is I was too lazy to do that, so we just, you know, walked through the poisonous swamp and got poisoned. But don't worry, we're gonna pick up some laurels later, when it's on the way. At least we survived somehow. I wouldn't mind hitting a church, you know, just to get my health back. Because this is the last life, I think. So it's pretty dangerous. You know, when you only got one life left and this is your health bar, you don't want to take too many chances. If I remember correctly, the church is up here. Oh yeah. For some reason we can't get in now. But that's alright, we can stay here and collect hearts. In this game you always need money. Let's talk about the NES and let's talk about the Atari ST. I mean, many people grew up with the NES as their first console, you know. The primitive days of 8-bit. But I had a fucking Atari ST. An Atari ST, well, I mean, while technically I guess it was 16-bit. But those games were like a lot shittier than the 8-bit. I mean, oh, you don't even wanna know. It's like, you know, you had to use a joystick with only one button, like a fire button. And those joysticks would break all the time. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Those joysticks, you know how many fucking joysticks I went through in just a few years? I mean, you had to buy a new joystick like every year. Because those sticks, you know, you had to use a stick like an arcade game. And those sticks would break. I mean, not break off completely, but they would just stop registering. So yeah, that was the machine I was playing the most, Atari ST, in the 80s. Also, my dad had a black and white Macintosh, which we also played a lot, you know, with the mouse and keyboard, games like Dark Castle and stuff. Of course, if you've seen the AVGN video where he talks about Dark Castle, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it sucks on the Sega Genesis Mega Drive. On the black and white Mac, it wasn't half bad. I mean, you control the game with the keyboard and you aim and shoot with the mouse. And if you play the game like that, it's actually alright. Yeah, I guess it just doesn't translate well to, you know, console gamepads. Now let's see if we can find a merchant here. But anyway, for me the 8-bit was like a pretty advanced console, you know, games like Castlevania, Mega Man. It's like the controls were perfect, you could always jump and shoot when you intended to. No, I don't want garlic. I said I don't want it, you fuck. But yeah, I mean, because, look, there was one problem when you play the Atari ST, that sometimes the controller would just not work, you know. Sometimes you would die, actually often you would die, even though it wasn't your fault, you know. You push left, but the joystick failed. Or you push the fire button, and the fire button failed. Even though the 8-bit games were kind of hard, at least they were fair in the sense that, you know, you could control the character at least. So that was a step up for me. I mean, you understand, I come from the fucking dark ages here. Even this game was like a pretty advanced game for me, compared to the shit I was playing. Right, now we're gonna leave this town and continue on our journey. I just remembered something. It's not too obvious, but oh look, here's this guy. When you see this guy, always talk to him. Now we're gonna exchange our blue crystal for a red one. This is the final crystal that we're gonna use. The game is actually not that long if you know where to go. So you might wonder, what the hell are we doing now? Well, we're taking the boat back, and then we're gonna equip Dracula's heart and talk to the boatman again, because then he will take us to a secret mansion. I don't know how you're supposed to figure that out either. But here we go. Equip the heart, and then talk to the guy. If you stand in front of the boat like this, you will never get hit by those mermen. There was a sound effect, so I guess that means that we went to a secret place. I mean, you really have to use your imagination when you play these old games. Alright, so we have a new mansion to explore. I'm not super familiar with it. But yeah, I mean, look, if you have never played this game before, or if you have never beaten it, I mean, just pick up a guide, try to find a few maps maybe. I mean, you don't really need it, but it's good. Ah, fucking bastard. And then you can play through it in probably an hour, 2 hours. It's actually pretty fun to play. I mean, I think now I will play it sometimes, now that I know where to go. Very intimidating game for sure, if you go in blind. Might be the hardest one of them all, if you play it like that. I mean, the enemy placement can be a little bit bullshit sometimes. And the menu is kind of hard to navigate. Even though I've used it so many times, I still don't know exactly how to select the sub-weapon and the Dracula body part. And this guy, why the fuck did they place that guy there? I mean, look at this. Did they have to put him there? Can you please just move along, sir? Can you just let me through, you fuck? It's so annoying, you know. Come on, can you cooperate a little bit? I'm trying to do a fucking Let's Play. I just want to get through this mansion. Yeah, Sacred Flame. Good weapon. And free. You just gotta pick it up. I don't want you to get shocked, but this mansion actually has a boss. If you can believe that. And the boss is the Grim Reaper. One of the toughest and cruelest bosses in the whole series. I mean, I hope you're ready. Here we go, the Reaper! No, Mr. Reaper, no! Well, this seems to work. Don't fear the Reaper. So it seems that he has about 1 billion HP. But that's alright. I got all the time in the world, buddy. Yeah. A very honorable fight. We got a golden knife, which I don't even want. I mean, I'm sure that you know that you can just walk past the Reaper. He won't even, you know, hurt you. But I wanted to kill him fair and square. Now we have Dracula's eyeball. I'm not sure what that does, but who cares? I like to wear the rib anyway. What the fuck? The Reaper is back. I mean, what the fuck is the point of having a boss there if he's gonna fucking respawn right after you leave the room? I mean, you can't, I mean... It was totally unnecessary to kill him. Ah. That sucks. Oh, you fucking slime. Why does every RPG have to have a slime? That's always like the first enemy in every old school RPG, like those little slimes. So I guess when they designed this game to be RPG, it's like, well, we gotta put some slime in there. But why? Well, it's an RPG. Okay. The RPG community won't accept it unless there's slime in the game. So yeah, I mean, having to backtrack all the way out is pretty annoying for sure. Doesn't really add any challenge or fun factor. It's just trying to extend the length of the game. I played some other games too around the same time as this one, like The Legend of Zelda, the first one. And that game was impossible too. I mean, for me at least, you know, because I didn't know where to go in that game either. I didn't have a guide. So I would just run around a couple of screens, try to get somewhere, enjoy the music, kill some enemies, and then turn off the game after about 20 minutes and do something else. Now we unequipped Dracula's heart and talked to the guy, and now he will take us to another place. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the game. I mean, I wouldn't mind hitting the church for a couple of health points. But of course, as soon as we try that, it becomes nighttime. And this is where the day and night cycle really starts to become like annoying. I just want to get in the fucking church so I can get healed and move on. But it's alright. I mean, I guess we do need some hearts to buy the final whip, the Morning Star. So we're just gonna walk around here whipping demons. I heard that most of the artwork for this game was lost in some earthquake, like 1995. Well, this part is boring as fuck for sure. My opinion of this game has changed a lot. When I played it back then, I thought it was pretty cool, but also pretty annoying. It wasn't really a game that I played a lot, just because it was so fucking frustrating to always be lost. And then after the AVGN episode, it's like, well, it became well known that the game was shit. So that was just more reason to stay away. But now, I mean, I would say that I like it. I would say that after, understanding the game, knowing where to go, what to do, the game becomes like a whole lot better. And now we just leveled up here from killing so many stupid demons. Now we don't even need the church anymore. So we're just gonna walk away. It wasn't there when we needed it. Let's see what's going on in here. Yeah, you can't break walls with the sacred flame, only the holy water is strong enough for that. Now we're gonna buy some laurels, because we're gonna go through a poisonous swamp. And unlike the last time, we're not just gonna tank the poison the whole way, we're gonna actually protect ourselves, just in case. We are being assaulted by slime. Then we're gonna use the sacred flame. Now the shield only works if you're standing still, so it doesn't work if you're moving. If you go down those stairs you come to some kind of side area, but we're gonna skip that. Lots of slime here. And here we have another town. Let's see if we can find a merchant. Now we're gonna buy the Morning Star whip. Now we have the best whip, although you can also upgrade it so it becomes like a flame whip. That upgrade is free, surprisingly. You just gotta find the guy who does it. Well, let's talk about Konami. I mean, Konami, back in those days, you know, the 80s, 90s, I mean, they were the best. I mean, or at least they were basically on par with Capcom. I remember, like, growing up, the only two companies I knew about was Capcom and Konami. You know, Capcom had the Mega Man, Street Fighter 2, and Konami had Castlevania, Contra, Turtles. Yeah, these jumps are fucking bullshit. But it seems that if you stand at the edge and just whip and jump at the same time, something magic happens. And here you have to kneel while holding the red crystal, I think. Or maybe not. Oh yeah, I forgot to equip it. Let's try that again. Here we go. One of the hardest things to figure out in the whole game. We're gonna go pick up the whip power up first. Now we ducked while holding the red crystal, so I mean, I guess, I don't know if you can do the same with the blue crystal. I thought like maybe blue crystal because it's water, but now we just use a red crystal to duck and get in the water, so who the hell knows. You notice the whip is actually still pretty weak, even though we bought the best one they had. We gotta get in here somehow and talk to this merchant dude. Then something good will happen. Give was the key word in that sentence. Usually it's like want to buy for 200 hearts. I mean, imagine like exploiting poor Simon Belmont. He's already rotting slowly from the curse that Dracula put on him. I mean, this is the hero of Transylvania, saved the whole country. And now it's like, well, you need help. Well, I mean, it's gonna cost you. I mean, we're not just gonna donate a whip to you, you cheap asshole. You gotta pay. Well, at least now we got the flame whip. Now this is really the strongest whip in the game. Now we're gonna smoke these fools. Alright, so we are back with Pitfalls here. We gotta use the holy water to see where we're gonna fall through. It's a pretty annoying mechanic for sure. It's not really fun. Doesn't make any sense either. I mean, all the blocks look the same. I don't know why you fall through some of them. Yeah, you can jump through those blocks. I mean, I heard that in Japanese the game has easier clues to understand. But I also heard that all the NPCs are liars in the Japanese version, so I'm not sure exactly what's up. Yeah, you gotta jump through this wall to find the guy who sells the oak steak. It looks like he's just walking outside the stage. You having fun out there, Gramps? So no boss this time. Just gotta throw an oak stake at the orb. Now we process Dracula's nail. Alright, that's disgusting. Imagine like Dracula's nail's probably like a real long, funky smelly nail. I wish there was a shortcut to get out of this mansion. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's like in real life you don't just teleport out of a mansion. You know, you gotta walk back the same way you came in. It's just that, you know, this is a game, you know, like it doesn't have to be 100% realistic. We can use our imagination for some parts. Like after we pick up the Dracula body part, we can just appear out here by the door. I would accept that, you know. So now we got mummies. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Some kind of bird dudes. And even the little Medusa heads make a cameo appearance. There's only like 2 or 3 in the whole game, which is pretty fucking sweet. We're not gonna hang around here, we're gonna keep moving. We have almost everything we need to reach the final area. There is actually one more mansion where we have to go and defeat the boss. If we had kept going to the right, we would have arrived at the bridge that takes us to Dracula's castle, but the bridge is, well, it's not accessible until you have all the items. Well, how do I know that? Well, if you go there, there's just a bunch of blocks there that are unbreakable. But if you have all the items in the inventory, then they are breakable. Just imagine, I mean, pretty soon we're gonna have closure on this game. I mean, I've been going around for 30 years saying that, yeah, I never beat Simon's Quest. Yeah, I beat the first one and the third one, but I never beat this one. It always kind of annoyed me that I never beat it. Because, I mean, it is a Castlevania game, and it should be beaten. Especially when there are guides available. There's really no reason not to beat it. I mean, I want to beat every Castlevania game in the series. I mean, for sure, all the classic Vanias, but also all the Metroidvanias. And I have beaten most of them actually, so there's no problem. Yeah, so now you use the laurels to protect yourself against poison from the swamp. If you don't mind doing some side quest stuff, you can get some more laurels and a bigger bag to hold them, but it's not worth it for this. I mean, you're gonna save 2-3 health points, but it's not worth it, just trust me. As you can see, I'm not too familiar with the game. That's what happens when you try to learn games when you're like old, you know what I mean? The Castlevania games that I played when I was young, I mean, I remember everything, like every enemy, everything. But this game, I mean, I never got this far when I was a kid. So I'm trying to memorize now. Where the fuck was I supposed to go? Was it left or right? Probably right. usually these mansions have about the same design, you know, you come in from the left and you walk towards the right. Yeah, the holy water is actually super weak now against enemies. These enemies are strong, you know, they have also leveled up. So you're gonna have to hit them hard. If you throw holy water at the skeletons, it takes maybe like 50 holy waters. I'm not even kidding. We're gonna make a little investment here in the form of an oak stake. Yeah, I mean, now the bullshit is starting to appear here, you know, with those skeletons throwing bones through the floor. It's never a good feeling to be hit through the floor, and then it's like you drop down, you land on top of the skeletons, like, alright, okay. Can we take it easy with the bullshit? I mean, especially all these blind drops here. I mean, I don't know what's under me, I don't know if it's an enemy or a fucking pit with water, I don't know. I mean, I'm just dropping down here, let's see what happens. Alright, solid ground. Here's the boss. Carmilla's mask or something. Yeah, if you got Dracula's rib equipped, the shots are not gonna hit you. As long as you stand still. Block the projectiles. Jump and whip. I mean, yeah, it looks like kind of a cheap strat, but well, guess what? There isn't that much to this fucking boss anyway. I mean, how many ways are there to kill it? I mean, obviously we have a shield because we picked up the rib. Of course we're gonna use it. Yeah, it's not really on par with the Castlevania 1 bosses, am I right? It's not really up there with, you know, Frankenstein's monster. Now we possess Magic Cross, so I guess we can both possess and process things. Now whatever you do, don't miss the oak stake, because then, I don't even know what happens. I guess you gotta go back and buy another one. Now we process Dracula's ring. Yeah, I should mention that, you know, this boss that we just killed, that boss is a mandatory kill. And what that means is that you have to kill it. Even if you can easily run past, like the Reaper, this one you have to kill. You don't have to kill the Reaper, you can skip him. But this one, for some reason, you gotta kill. Ah, fuck. Alright, well, at least we squeezed every ounce of life out of our final guy. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of bullshit, but this guy will give us laurels. I beg of you to take these laurels. Sure, dude, I'll take them. This is actually kind of nice, that they give you some free laurels, so you can go back through the poisonous swamp. You don't have to buy them again. Well, just juggled senseless. Come on, fucking shit game. Whoops, did I just say that? I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, the game has flaws for sure, we can't lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I mean, it has taken me 30 years to get around to beating the game, so... That's how long it takes to swallow a shit sandwich. I'm getting a little restless here, so I just want to, because now I can smell the finish line, you know, we got all the body parts of Dracula and the cross. The only thing left now is to just cross the bridge, get into Dracula's castle and kill him, so now I'm like, I just want to get there, you know. Like, don't stand in my way, enemies. We are so close. Equip Laurel. I hope in some way that this video can serve as like a walkthrough guide for somebody. I don't think there are too many on YouTube. I mean, I know there are a bunch that doesn't have, you know, commentary, but it's not so easy to know what to do when you watch those. Or sometimes it's like a 100% completion guide. That's not what we're going for either. I mean, I hope that maybe this video will be useful to somebody who just wants to get through the game as fast as possible, but you know, without trying to do a speed run using glitches to fall through stuff. And I mean, this is just like a normal playthrough you can do on the Anniversary Collection, you know, PS4 or PC, whatever platform you got. If I can do it, you can do it too. What a horrible night to have a curse. This place was already dark, so nothing changed. Interesting. Now we are heading to Castlevania. That's actually the name of his castle, I think. I never thought about that. I always thought, well, I mean, it is like, you know, it's a joke or pun or something on, you know, Transylvania, Castlevania. But it seems it's also the name of Dracula's castle. I remember when the Castlevania series was like the best series. I remember when it was alive. What the hell happened? Why is it not alive anymore? I want more Castlevania games. I want somebody to make them. Well, actually somebody is. Iga. And those other guys. I don't know what the name is, but Inti creates. You know, Curse of the Moon 1 and 2. I'm gonna talk about them one day too. We're gonna play through those. Alright, so don't let these mermen shoot, because they can shoot fast as ass. I mean, this game has pretty severe knockback. So you can still die instantly in areas like this. Yeah, you see how fucking fast he shoots? You can barely see it. Now this area looks suspiciously like a previous area that we have visited when we were traversing the eastern Transylvania. But don't worry, this is a brand new area. It wasn't like, you know, they copy-pasted anything when they made the game. No, I mean, this is an all new place, all new town, all new everything. I mean, look, no matter how you look at it, this was one of the top games on the NES. Even though it was super hard to beat. At least it's in the top 10. Alright, now we are in the ruins of Castlevania. For some reason it is empty, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I mean, Dracula is dead and stuff, but I mean, there sure are enemies all over the rest of Transylvania, so I don't know why. It's not like they ran out of time or something, right? So now we're gonna go resurrect his eyes to kill him again. Now this Dracula, you can fight him in some different ways. He can actually be pretty dangerous, you know, if you try to take him with the whip only. But luckily you can use the sub-weapon to kind of stun him. Here we go. Put the pieces on the altar, the nail, the ring, the eye, the heart and the rib. Now let's rebuild Count Dracula. I live again. Shit, what is happening to me? Life is suffering. Fuck this. I didn't come back to life to be treated like this. Now you can get some different endings in this game depending on how long you take. If you get a bad ending, then Simon is gonna die from his curse. This is a good ending, I think. I mean, look, this is a game. And the only real question is the game fun to play? I would say it is fun when you know what to do and where to go. So yeah, I mean, I had a good time with this. I have upgraded the status of this game from, you know, the black sheep of the NES trilogy, or like, you know, a misstep for the series. I'm gonna promote this to be like an official Castlevania game. A sequel to part 1. I mean, I just can't say no to the music, you know. The music is so good I can forgive everything else. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a good time. Let's play through all the classic Vanias. This is David at Channelvania signing out.